What's up, beautiful Libra gang? Welcome to my channel, Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup. My name's Annie. Happy to have all the Libras out there with me today. We are going to do your monthly tarot spread. This is going to be messages universe, spirit, God, whatever you believe in, wants to hear or wants for you all to hear during the month of May. This doesn't necessarily mean that everything is going to come into you during May or happen during May. It's messages that you're supposed to hear and interpret. Again, only take away what resonates with you. As always, you will be in the driver's seat. But anything that feels strange or foreign, release those messages, drop it like it's hot. Assume it's going out to someone else who needs to hear it. But yeah, I hope lots and lots of this resonates. Pieces and parts of it very likely will. And also give it time to resonate too. Not everything will click instantly. So the first half I'm going to do career and finances. The second half will look into your love life. Ooh, you got a whole bunch coming out here. All right, and what else do you need to know? Everything else about this video will be down in the description box below, including the decks I'm using here today, as well as my social media channels. I am the Intuitive Teacup on Facebook and Instagram, as well as .com. Like, share, subscribe wherever you can, including on this channel here. That helps me a whole lot. Helps these videos and this channel gain momentum and traction out there in YouTube land, and that is my ultimate goal, all right? So yeah, I think those are the basic rules. Let's hop in. I'm going to pull you an animal card first. We'll see what animal spirit card wants to come out for my Libra gang out there. Kick this reading off. What kind of energy is Libra going to be presenting as in the month of May? You had like seven didn't want to go back in the deck. Just one for Libra. Animal spirit card for Libra. For Libra. That one. Okay, let's see. What's it going to be? The cosmic egg. Look at that. All right. Protecting and nurturing, almost like sort of mothering type energy a little bit. But it could indicate that you're not wanting to share on a project or not wanting to reveal something because, especially if it is some sort of creative project, you don't want other people to steal the limelight or you don't want other people to know about it or have information on you. It is sort of being very secretive about something. And you're being secretive specifically to potentially a Scorpio. It doesn't have to be. Some of you may have strong Scorpio in your chart if you're a cusper. But there's interference with a Scorpio. And if it's not a Scorpio, it's the idea of the scorpion with the rattle tail, or not a rattlesnake, sorry, I'm mixing up my animals, but with the Scorpio tail where it can like swing around and sting you. There's something with a Scorpio here, or someone who is scorpion-like, right? And no shade to the Scorpios. I got lots of Scorpio in my chart. I love my Scorpios. But yeah, this feels like a war. This feels like a battle. Like that Scorpio is like, this egg will be mine, so you may as well just give it up now. Like almost with the light, the illumination of they have a one-track mind and they have it set in their path that egg that you're holding back on, Libra, that you're like protecting like a baby, almost like a child, right? There's no way they're getting to this egg, but they think they are. This feels like a battle to the death. So, I mean, obviously to the death is a metaphor, but this could be indicative. I almost said vindictive. This could be indicative of a relationship that you're in. It could be something with a best friend. It could be with a coworker. It could be with your lover, right? But if so, it's like a lover's quarrel. It feels kind of intense, but I like your energy better. Yeah, something about the intelligence, like the smarts of whatever it is that you're doing. I like how I said all the intelligent things and I'm not being like literate at all. The irony there, like it's really like smart and like, sorry. You guys understand what I mean though? The intelligent way you're approaching this, it's almost like rather than fighting fire with fire, rather than lashing out irrationally, there's something about I heard recoiling, but you're moving in. Rather than extending force outward, you're pulling back, but you're being very protective of something. Your family, your money, whatever the egg stands for in your life. So yeah, something about your wit will outsmart them. That's coming through, yeah. But it's also saying get out of there with the cheetahs coming up too. So it's like run, get it. Like, this is a bad partnership. This is a bad relationship. Use your, your intelligence. Be wise about it. I just heard money savvy too. So for some of you, this may have to do with your work, particularly if some of you are being asked to pass off a project to someone else. You might be like, but I built this from the ground up. Like, this is my baby. This is my project. And your boss is like, well, everybody has to share. And you're just like, no, like, I just said, no, bitch, this is mine. Like, you can't have it. So anyway, maybe that makes sense to some of you Libras out there. I apologize for my little scratchy throat. All right, so that could go in multiple ways, but that was bottom of your deck. You're being very protective, but there's some beautiful blessing that is inside this egg. So I'm not necessarily getting it's going to pop, right? The egg isn't going to crack. I'm sort of getting not anytime soon. This could be 2 or 3 months away, but it's probably some sort of financial blessing, or it could indicate that somebody in your network, in your family, in your social circle is pregnant, right? And if it's not pregnant with a baby, it's the metaphor of pregnant with some really beautiful idea. And it's colorful. There's rainbows around it. There's something about the true identity about it. There's integrity and authenticity to whatever is inside of the egg. So make sure that you're holding that at the crux of whatever you're being so protective of it. Make sure that you're doing right by the project or what's making you feel so protective. Maybe you make sure you don't get lost in this stage of I'm gonna show them. Like, you know what I mean? Something about having a cool, calm, and collected, or really like well-adjustedness, if that makes any sense. Anyway, that was all over the place. Libra, so you have King of Cups, you have the Sun, you have the Six of Cups, and you have the Ace of Swords in your financial spread. So just looking at these just as cards, beautiful energy, amazing cards. So King of Cups can be indicative of someone who's like the boss of their career, right? Cups can be indicative of money flow if money is a currency, right? There is a snake, though, in your background, right? There's something coming up from the waves that maybe you're not anticipating, especially... This scratchy throat is driving me up the fucking wall. I'm so sorry. Anyway, the idea that as you dip your toe in, you have to be careful what rests underneath, because submerged under the water, under what you feel is a safety zone, there might be something coming up to surprise you. And I'm not saying you guys need to fear this per se, but you know, forewarned is forearmed. So if you're sensing that there's someone in your life right now that might not be trustworthy or doesn't have the greatest intentions, I feel like there's something to that. This snake coming up, you're on like this cement block that miraculously is sort of like floating right on the water, even though it's cement. So something about it being chained, though, it's like a false sense of cement. It's a false sense of stability. Something about there are some waves that are going to come in and rock you, and it could indicate that here, because you're being depicted as the King of Cups, whether you are male or female, Libra, it's saying to me your finances are good, it's under control, but there might be like a squall, a swell, something about a wave that comes up that you're not anticipating, and the wave was caused by this little creeper, this little snake in the background. It could be indicative of your scorpion here, whatever that is, right? But if you choose to vibe high and move away from it, I think you're going to be okay. The Sun indicates regrowth and positivity. It can be indicative of a Leo that you're working with. It could also just indicate like renewal and joy and finding really healthy creative outlets to express yourself. It could be that you're feeling like emotionally strained or repressed, or also creatively, almost like creatively constipated. Yeah, this is such a weird metaphor, I'm sorry, but there's an intensity of like holding back. But if you were to just release and let go, this may be staying at a job that has provided you financial security. But what I am getting, and I don't do fear-based readings, there might be something that sort of rocks the boat here. I'm not saying you guys are going to get fired, because quite frankly, you do have a lot of cards coming through that are positive. But it couldn't be indicative of hour cuts or salary cuts. It could be indicative that someone in your family or whatever may have sort of a difficult path ahead regarding finances. Something that you see as, again, cemented or solid. Something about the wave coming through. Again, it could be someone you work with. It impacts your finances. But what you're not realizing is that even if it does, even if this, quote, knocks you off your throne, there's actually better things out there for you, particularly if any of my Libras want to work with children. That's coming through quite strongly here. Or it could be one of those things where it's a blessing in disguise, because this is sometimes like my father or mother card, right? Depending on what gender you are, it doesn't really matter. Something may rock you where you get your hours cut, but as it turns out, you get to spend more time with your children, or doing something creative that brings you joy. It brings you back to like, yesteryear, the nostalgia, the golden days of something you used to enjoy in your youth, particularly horseback riding, right? Or something by the ocean or on the water, if that makes sense to anyone out there. Yeah, there's something positive that comes from it, but it does have to do with some sort of final decision or cut. So you may end up choosing to leave a job, right? Especially if you're working with people that you don't trust, Or, I mean, I don't know what the scenario is, Libra. I don't get all the details. I just get the general outline. So if for some reason, you're trying to defend this egg, but someone essentially says, release control or you're fired, you may release control of that egg, not wanting to. And then ultimately you decide like, screw these people, I'm out. Like they're taking the work, almost like, what is that expression? When the rug gets swept out from under you. If you're in like a tricky position where you're being forced to like compromise your ethics or your values at a job, it could be that you're very strong-willed, because I do see this is a Scorpio card. Again, more scorpionic energy, as well as this too, but very positive cards of Scorpio. So anyway, something about if they test your moral or ethical values and you realize the people you're working with, they're just, maybe that's why vindictive came through. You may decide to cut the old job, again, a card of the past, and spend more time looking into brighter options in the future, if that makes sense. With the horse here, I almost sometimes see this card as like a knight, indicating like positive change and movement in your career, right? Because that's what we're reading for. But yeah, a lot of my artists out there, if any of that makes sense to you, if you do anything artistic or creative, you have really great cards coming through where if in the past you had good ideas, but you've recently felt blocked or stifled, I think there's going to be fresh ideas that come back almost in full force, that bright color, that bright yellow. And this does have to do with family dynamics too. Some of you could even be opening like a daycare or even, because I know we're all in quarantine now, something about like a virtual online classroom that would help kids or parents. Something about teaching, nostalgia, education, teaching nostalgia, that's not what I meant. Teaching or education of like the youth, or you could even be creating some sort of app that like help to keep children busy while their parents are at home, or, if any of that makes sense to you, drawing, creative type stuff, blueprints, plans and sketches. I don't think you've fully realized what it is that you're creating, but you are going to make significant progress when there's some new beginning. There's some sort of new clarity here. So what else can we tell Libra specifically about funds? So 5 of Pentacles, bottom of the deck. I haven't shuffled, but again, that can indicate tough times with money. So, forewarned is forearmed. If you're sensing that there could be a bad relationship at work, start putting out some applications just to be safe, right? But 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, I mean, that's sort of what I'm getting before. You're in like an awkward position with someone. And maybe this, you can always view it through the lens of something aside from work. It could be with a best friend or your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever. But yeah, with 7 of Pentacles, it's like, I've already planted some seeds here. Should I abandon them entirely? Is it worth my staying around to water them? Here's the thing. I will say, if we're speaking in metaphor, right? And this card is indicative of, with Pentacles, the seeds, something that you've gone to nurture. Could it grow into something greater? Well, you have all the ingredients to make it work. You have sunlight and water, right? That's what seeds need to grow. So I do see something about it working, but it has to do with returning to an idea you had in the past to capitalize on these seeds or this income, right? I think you're in a weird waiting period where you're waiting for something to bloom, you're waiting for something to blossom, and you're not really seeing the reward or the return on all the hard work and efforts that you've put in. I think that's what this egg is. You don't want to give it up yet because you do still see potential in it. But this could also be like a metaphor for someone being like, throw it away. It's not worth it. It's never going to come into you. It's not like, time to start anew. Like almost sort of like stop being so nostalgic or sentimental or tied to the idea of something that just didn't work out. Again, these are kind of muddled messages to me, but all those important things are coming through. I would say if this is something you see value in, haters gonna hate. There's something about this where you believe with that Ace of Swords that there could be a new beginning that is positive. Again, the idea of waiting for the egg to hatch, waiting for the seeds to blossom and pop, as long as they have sunlight and water, which they do in abundance here in this spread, this egg is going to crack and it's going to be beautiful. I'm almost getting the metaphor of like a piñata when you crack it open and the candy comes everywhere, right? There could be untapped potential in here in terms of making the project even better or even greater. You're just trying to kind of figure out, okay, what is the missing link? What is the missing piece here? It could also indicate that money's going to come. It's just a little bit held up. But again, once that, quote unquote, piñata cracks open, there will be that payout. There will be that money that comes in. So I would not abandon this entirely if the decision rests with you. For some of you, it might not, in which case, again, it will be a blessing in disguise, even if you have to give up this project by force, right? By not your own will or your own doing. There's something else coming into you. And if you're moving jobs, you may end up working closer to your family or working from home for a period of time. There might be some travel involved. Something about moving with the pack. Because, yeah, look, what's behind this guy is like these buffalo or these deer, whatever they are, right? These elk, I don't know what they are, doesn't matter. They're going at it, right? With their horns, there's arguments, there's fight, there's conflict. This could be like you packing up your shit and going like, I'm just going to put my stuff in a box and get the hell out of here because you guys are like a hot mess. I could see it that way. But you would take something from that job or that business or that position, that role, and maybe you're planting it in a new garden, in new fertile land where it actually stands a chance at growing and developing. Because again, you have like magician vibes, right? Like you have all the ingredients to manifest what you want out of this. But that's a good metaphor. The state or the environment this egg is currently in, it's almost like Spirit or God knows, like in metaphor, the baby inside this egg knows it wouldn't be birthed into a healthy environment right now. So it's waiting. It's just like, it's nice and cozy in there. Whatever this project is, this metaphoric baby, right? Your creative project, it's not ready to come out and see the world yet. It's like, let me just marinate a little bit longer. Let me get a little cuter, right? Like, but I think it has to do with moving the egg elsewhere. So again, that's up to you to decide what that metaphor of moving the egg elsewhere is. But just the way it's shown like these bright, beautiful colors, I think it's something great that's coming in, but it's not here yet. Something about a party, a piñata. I keep getting that. I don't know. Maybe it's some news that's it could be the news of pregnancy if that's on anybody's brain. It doesn't have to be, but it could be something about communicating news about children, especially if you're having your third child. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone out there, but yeah, I mean, it's not time yet. It's almost not time yet to announce it, right? There's still a lot of confusion or mystery, so. But overall looks positive, Libra. I don't see anything that's like, oh my God. Other than whoever this person is regarding your work life, their energy is nasty. I don't like it. Let's look at your love life, because that looks a little bit interesting. You got Tower right smack in the middle of your entire spread. You have the Tower. So not always a bad card, but let's look and see what universe wants you to know about this. So you have the Fool. All right. So that is Aquarius and Aries energy sometimes. The Fool is about taking a leap of faith off into the unknown. Because you want something new, you want something pure and untainted and clean and beautiful, like a fresh start, a blank slate with that white rose. I always see it as very pure, innocent, right? Something about babies too. Again, some of you might work with parents or children or therapies and whatever it is. Something about the parent-child dynamic is important here. You do have to take a leap of faith as you go off into something, but you're turning your back on the sun is what I'm hearing, and the sun is what's coming into you. So I don't know if this would involve something about if you already have children being at a distance from quite literally your son, right? Whether you're the mother or the father. I don't know what that's about, but this could indicate divorce. I mean, the Tower is typically something that it comes down in our life, but it's quite shocking. It's quite uncomfortable. It's quite a difficult energy, but it does indicate that something was never built on a stable platform. It's almost like the land that you tried to grow the seed originally, it wasn't fertile land. So it's like, well, let's strip it on down and try again elsewhere. So some of you might literally be moving. This could also indicate you're doing house repairs if you live with like a sweetheart. But here's the thing, you're walking away from that. So, and you have the single ladies card. So single gents, single ladies. It's recognizing the beautiful life you've created for yourself, but there's singlehood here. I always view this as like, she has the 9 of Pentacles, right? It's Venus and Virgo energy. So some of you may have Virgo in your chart. She's got the 9. What she wants to get to is the 10. And sometimes I view this through the lens of the one thing missing, the one thing that would be really kick-ass in my life and like really contribute to all these beautiful, riches and abundance that I have. Is that person, right? That's my 10th pentacle. And there's something about desiring or wanting loyalty, right? So I don't know if you've been in a troubled relationship, maybe that's what this stands for. It's not going to be for everyone, right? If you've been in a troubled relationship, something about this, it's trying to illuminate you to the idea that you have to fix it or someone's going to walk. What's interesting though is I'm almost getting a two-person dynamic here. I don't necessarily think you're both Libra. There's one who wants to stay because it's the comfort zone, but it's almost like they are avoiding the inevitable truth that there's kind of some weird energy here. But the other person has one foot out the door. So I don't know if that makes sense for anyone out there. This doesn't have to be marriage by any means, but this feels like a relationship that at minimum, I'll say this, it's long overdue for you to assess what's going on between you. Because look, neither one of you are looking at each other, right? I'm so sorry, Libra, my camera froze there. So yeah, why aren't you two looking at each other, right? We've got the Fool over here looking off into the distance, ready to take like this great leap of faith. But then we got the Single Ladies card over here, which even if you guys are a couple, right? This indicates she's pretty comfortable in her surroundings, but this can sometimes turn into the comfort zone, right? It sometimes has the indication that she's never left her own backyard. And maybe that's the wedge in this relationship, if that makes sense, is that someone's wanting to try something new. Someone's wanting to be more like adventurous in the bedroom or do something kind of risque or different. And they're just like, no, we've always done it this way. It's fine. You like, don't mess with a good thing. But that's the thing though. If there's no more spiritual growth in this relationship, if this relationship is no longer healthy and thriving, or individually you both have stopped progressing as spiritual human beings, that's when the universe comes in to wake you up. So at minimum, right? This doesn't have to be divorce. This doesn't have to be a breakup, but universe is going to cause some waves. That's what this is indicating, right? That's going to shake you up and it's going to test your stability to see, do you want to fight for this? That's what this can be too, right? This person you've been with since middle school, since junior high, since high school, since college, whatever. The nostalgia of, oh, well, we've always been together. We're best friends. We're soulmates. Are you though? Are you? Can you fix this, right? Are you willing to fight for this person who's been in your life for quite some time? Or do you really need to hit reset and start new, start fresh? Somebody in here is desiring more than the other to move away from a relationship. The other person is kind of like, well, we've always made it work. What do you mean? They're not even open to having the conversation. There's a little bit of arrogance, I will actually say, in both these cards. That's sort of what I'm getting. So for those who are not in a relationship, this could indicate that you've already walked away from someone, and in which case you're single. You're single and ready to mingle, and you're looking. Let's see. So for my single Libras only, you might be headed towards a Scorpio again with the Death card. There's Scorpio energy all over this, as well as there's a little bit of Leo energy with that Sun. And again, possibly Aquarius or Aries, but I'm not getting that too strongly. What is the new single and ready to mingle Libras, providing they are healthy and in a good state of mind and, aren't nursing any serious wounds, right, from a past relationship? What can some single Libras possibly look into? What is their advice or guidance for love? Let's see. The Three of Cups. All right, so I like that. That's beautiful. This is kind of an interesting depiction of it. There's a wall to break through. There's a barrier to break through, potentially with another water sign, a Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. But there's very jovial, beautiful, celebratory, friendly socialization energy. This is typically a card of like getting together and tossing back a few beers and like grabbing a coffee. Like it's a card of dating. It's not exclusive dating yet. It's not Two of Cups. It's Three of Cups. So it's hang out with the guys, hang out with the girls, mingle with people at the bar, or the this and the that. I mean, whatever, social distancing, right? This could be going through the apps, messaging a few people. And with cups, there's emotion there. There's a sense of small romance here, so it's light flirtations. Some of you are heading into light flirtations, and I do want to say, because it fell under the King of Cups, water signs, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, okay? All right, and then you also have Queen of Wands here. So I think that's the other person you're dealing with, that either if you're with them, they're being quite stubborn and not wanting to address, almost like, literally, you guys, the elephant in the room. That is the perfect metaphor for this. And again, you can view these messages through the lens of your workplace as well. There's something about needing to address the elephant in the room because it's about to go up in flames. So we can either ignore it and pretend it's not there. We can look in the other direction and be like, oh, where? What elephant are you talking about? I don't see anything. Or you can address it and be like, something isn't working here. Do we want to fix it? Do we want to fight for it? Or do we simply want to go our own ways because maybe there's more happiness there, right? And now I will say this is falling in the center of your spread as well, like above the tower. So there is room for growth and like new creation here if, again, you're willing to address the elephant and understand, where did we go wrong? What in the past didn't we do correctly to make this thrive and grow? Shall we, I keep wanting to say, should we try it in new lands, like fertile soil? Should we, Yeah, some of you do want to fight for this relationship, and you can, but you have to get your person on the same page. Because both of you, A, you're not looking at each other, and you're not addressing the awkwardness between you. And then again, this feels like you guys, the majority of the people I'm reading for, that's the message. If you are completely single, no ties to the past, yeah, you're going to enjoy some mild flirtations in the month of May, into possibly June with, again, I am getting heavy water signs or maybe an Aquarius or an Aries, okay? Possibly a Virgo. You have so many cards of Scorpio, though. Scorpio really does play a role in this. So again, if you have no baggage with an ex that's a Scorpio or whatever, there's scorpionic energy around you. It could also indicate, again, you having strong Scorpio in your chart. All right, so other random messages that want to come through. There's something, you're having anxiety in your dreams, and it does have to do with feeling like you can't escape the tower. An impending tower. If you don't know what this is and you're not anticipating it, I mean, I guess now you are, right? But that's a good thing. But yeah, it feels like you're trapped with the devil. I mean, the devil's coming up here. So this can be addictions. This can be staying in some sort of environment that you've outgrown that's no longer contributing to your spiritual growth, but you're staying there because, I don't know, you fill in the blank, right? It's familiar. The income is okay, but there's something about it where you're not truly seeing it for what it is. And again, that's in tarot, right? The Fool's Journey. This goes in order. It's sequential. It goes from the devil to the tower, because when you're in the darkness, you can't see the light of day. So it's like we got to bust open the windows and the doors and the damn buildings so you can finally see the stars in the sky, because the star following the tower, that card, that offers you rejuvenation and hope and healing. Because yeah, I'm getting a sense of denial with some of you Libras. There's something that's crumbling or in the process of kind of breaking down, and you know it. You're having sort of dreams or anxiety about it, and that's kind of creepy, right? As these little hands reaching up, it's like something is playing with you, but it's very yeah, it feels like someone playing head games. And that's really what this leads into, is Five of Swords, which is the card of head games and someone trying to win at all costs. And again, like a battle to the deaths is what I'm getting with someone. So this could be a relationship that neither one of you are wanting to say goodbye to. But again, the elephant in the room is that something's not working. How do we fix it, right? And I don't mean to pander, is that the term, pander to you or talk down to you? There's no judgment here, but this showed up in the middle of your spread. So that's pretty significant. There's something impacting your life that it's giving you anxiety, or at minimum there's uncomfortable energy with someone who's around you. So let's shine a light on that and understand, how can you fix it? You got the light, here's the illumination, right? This could even have to do with something with your children too. Maybe some of you have a child who's really struggling in work, and this could even be something about you're being very protective of your child, but the teacher's calling you every night, like they're not doing their work and they're not focusing, and almost like blaming you, but it's my child. How could you say it? Do you know what I mean? This could be viewed through a lot of lens. So, all right. But then you have your Nine of Cups. So I like that. That is very fulfilling. That's very rewarding, I guess is a good term. If you are willing to acknowledge this tower and decide where you stand and how you want to grow and rebuild from it, it's saying that whatever you're wishing and desiring for your future, it is absolutely obtainable. But I am sort of hearing you need to face yourself. You need to face your shadow side, right? The devil exists within all of us, right? It's symbolic of like our darker energies, our negative thoughts, our codependent behavior, our addictions, right? Things that don't promote healthy choices and healthy spiritual growth. If you're willing to get real with yourself and sort of go internal, go deep, dig in and understand, what is festering in this egg, right? What isn't allowing this baby, even like your inner child, what is not allowing it to grow and develop with, love and light and joy and positivity? If you can assess that and come to some sort of conclusion about how you want to go moving forward, it's almost like a surefire victory, and you're on your way to building your dream life, your wish fulfillment. That's what the Nine of Cups is. But this does, so this does indicate a party of some kind or a celebration. It could be a birthday party. It could be an anniversary party. It could be that you got, even in this relationship that maybe is tricky, it could be like your 3-year anniversary is coming up, and maybe that's the time where you're like, so can we talk? Like, I hate that it happens at a party. That's kind of rough. But you have a couple cards. It's like he's cracking open champagne. You have Three of Cups. Something, and the confetti, that metaphor of like confetti or the piñata. I don't know why I'm getting all this metaphor about a party, but there could be a very heavy conversation that happens at a party. But again, you need, whatever transpires, you need to understand it is a blessing in disguise because it's aligning you with what your heart truly wants with your Nine of Cups. So let's look into that. Anything else? What else do we need to know about this Nine of Cups? You got to get out of a situation that's stagnating your spiritual growth, your financial growth, or your romantic life. You need to reassess it and find a positive, healthy way to fix it or to move on. Page of Swords. All right, so communication is going to be key. But again, I'm getting the sword is behind this bird who's running away from it. There's a heavy conversation or a heavy truth, and the sword is pointing down, so it's probably something negative. It's probably the idea of not wanting to criticize someone or not wanting to tell them that they did a bad job or not wanting to say, I don't know if I love you anymore, right? There's something, it's a negative thought that it's keeping you down, but by running away from it, that's the devil. You're making it even worse. You're letting the darker energy, the fear of having that important conversation, you're running away from it. With Paige, it's like childlike mentality of like, I don't want to tell them, I don't want to get in trouble. Again, some of you may have it's particularly an air sign child, a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, who might be struggling in school or needing to have an important conversation with them and they're avoiding it. And it could go vice versa too. This is such a random message, but having to have like a talk about like the birds and the bees or like a sex talk or something about that, it's very awkward and you almost picture the child being like, Mom, Dad, I don't want to talk about that. But it's like, it's a heavy conversation that needs to be had. So both of you, it could be one or the other or both of you. It could be these people too, right? Not looking at each other. You need to face the truth, address the elephant in the room and stop running from the sword, the communication, right? If you address this head on and face your fears, there's a win there. And then, yeah, you have all these beautiful cards coming in, but they don't come in until you address a difficult matter or a difficult truth. All right, Libra, that's what I got for you. Please do like, share, subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below what resonates. I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye, guys.